today's study of the Rashi, we continue chapter 34, verse 1. And it says in chapter 34, verse 1, Vateitze Dina Bat Leah Asher Yaldala Yaakov Lirot Bivnot Haaretz. Now Dina, who was the daughter of Leah, who was born to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. What does this mean, the daughter of Leah? Rashi says, it points out that she was the daughter of Leah, V'lo bat Yaakov. Was she not the daughter of Yaakov also? Ela al shem yitziata nikreit bat Leah. This is, by the way, this is a difficult Rashi. She was called the daughter of Leah because she went out, like finds favor in your eyes. The soup.
That's great.
Yeah, let's tell Chef Spike.
This was the Spike nuggets.
Yeah, he made a lot. So we didn't serve it this week. We didn't serve it. We served the potato week the whole week, but now we brought out the squash soup for it this afternoon. So she was called the daughter of Leah because she went out. Leah was also a woman who went out. Leah went out to greet Jacob after she traded the mandrakes that her son had brought her to Rachel to be with Jacob for a night. This is what the parables, those who spin parables say. Like a mother is like a daughter. So that's really right away. Rashi is blaming. I don't know if he intends to, but the modern ear hears that they're blaming Leah for being somebody who goes out. So they're blaming Dina for being somebody who goes out, and all the problems happen to Dina because she went out like her mother. So it's almost like victim shaming. So the next verse states, Vayar osa Shechem ben Chamor hachivi nisia aretz, vayikach osa, vayishkav osa, vaya'aneha. And then Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Chivite, then Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Chivite, who was the prince of the land, saw her. Vayikach ota, and he took her. Vayishkav ota, and he lay with her. Vaya'aneha, and he violated her. Yes, Jerry.
Yes, it could be that just as today in strict Arab countries, a woman cannot leave home without a male escort. Maybe in those days also, a girl should not leave the home without a male escort. It's not.
I think that's the implication. That it wasn't. I think that you're right. That the implication was that by going out, she was doing something inappropriate. But yeah, but I agree with that very precise reading, Jerry. So it's hello, Larry. Here, take a chumash. We're on page 185. Yeah. So it says that Shechem, the son of Hamor, saw her, and he was the prince of the land. Then he took her and he lay with her and he violated her. So what does this mean? Vayishkav osa, Rashi says kedarka, in the natural manner. Vaya'aneha, and he violated her shelo kedarka, in an unnatural manner. This reminds me when I was in 7th grade, we were studying Rashi, and so one of the kids said, "What does it mean shelo kedarka, the unnatural manner?" One of the kids asked the Rebbe, and the Rebbe looked at him and goes, "Kedarka, you know what it means in the natural manner." So I never forgot that one. Okay, so that'll make this video go viral on YouTube. So The point is, this is also a controversial verse because it never actually says, people talk about, it's a harsh word to use. People talk about the rape of Dinah, but it never actually says that she was raped, because the word for violating would be the language for any premarital intercourse. So it's possible that he assaulted her, but it's also possible that she had, from the brother's perspective and from Jacob's perspective, she had no agency. She had no ability to consent. And so it's possible they were reading this as, we don't care if she said she wants to be with him. That's not, you weren't supposed to ask her. You were supposed to ask us. So it's not 100% clear. Rashi seems to indicate that it was against her will because it was in the natural manner and then in the unnatural manner. Yes, Jerry.
What is the Hebrew word for intercourse outside of marriage, rape? What word would that be?
Right. So that's a very good point. The anusa is the woman who's engaged in intercourse outside of marriage, but it would apply whether or not she agreed or not. Meaning to say, so even if she agreed, it would have used that word. But here it doesn't use the word anusa. It says vaya'aneha, which is a different word. When the Torah talks about the woman who is assaulted, it calls her an anusa, the woman who's assaulted. Here it calls the woman, here it says vaya'aneha, which is a different word. Anyway, so we, what?
Described
Vaya'aneha. He violated her. So Rashi says that it doesn't mean she was assaulted against her will. Rashi says it means that he had relations with her in the unnatural manner. Okay, I'm not sure who just joined. Their thing says iPhone. It could be anyone. If you're Jeff Bezos, please send $1 billion our way. Next verse states, "Vatidbak nafsho bedina." So after Shem was with her, it says, and his soul cleaved.
Sorry, it's only me.
Oh, okay.
It's only me.
All righty. It's not only you, it's you. We'd rather have you than Jeff anyway. So hello, we're in chapter 34, verse 3. It says that Shechem's soul cleaved to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob. That her soul cleaved to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob. And Vayahavet hanara, Vayidaber alev hanara. And he loved her, and he spoke to her heart. Rashi says, what does it mean he spoke to her heart? Dvarim hamityashvim alev, words which will be appealing to her heart. Re'i, and what did he say to her? Re'i avich b'chalkat sadeketana kama mamon bizbez. Look how much your father spent on that small field. Because Jacob had just bought a field. He said, I'll marry you. V'tikni ha'ir. And we have them over here, the Chumashim. And you'll acquire the whole city. The whole city will say, marry me, you'll get the whole city and all of its fields. Marry me, and you'll get the whole city and all of its fields. So that's what he said. So Vayomer Shem al Chamor Aviv, and Shem said to Chamor's father. Shem said to Chamor's father, Lamor saying, Kachli et hayalda azot l'isha. Shem says to Chamor's father, take for me this young girl for a wife. Hayalda azot. It doesn't say young girl, this girl. Take for me this girl for a wife. V'Yaakov shama kitime et Dinah bito. Jacob heard that his daughter had been defiled. Doesn't say, again, it doesn't say she was raped. It says she was defiled. That could mean just she lost her virginity. Uvanav hayu at Mikneo Basadan. His sons are with the cattle in the field. V'acharish Yaakov ad boam. And Jacob was silent until they came. This has always struck me as a very difficult verse for Jacob, because we see what is Jacob's reaction to this. What's Jacob's reaction? Silence, silence. His daughter is assaulted, and you would expect to say, and Jacob grew angry. You would say, and Jacob was horrified, but it doesn't say that. It says Jacob was silent. His sons were in the field, and what's Jacob's reaction to this defilement of his daughter? Nothing. Now, of course, there's some internal family politics here, because it mentions that she was the daughter of Leah, and we know that Jacob favors the children of Rachel. So that's Jacob's silence is very problematic. And look what happens. Vayetze Chamor Avi Shechem el Yaakov. Yes, Jerry.
It could also mean that he was boiling mad and he was waiting for his sons to come home so that he would have the family powwow as to what to do.
It could mean that, but there's other language in the text which shows that he never expresses his anger, unlike the sons. Let's see what happens. The next verse states, Ubnei Yaakov ba'u min hasadeh kishamam. The sons of Jacob came home when they heard. So right away, Jacob was silent when he hears. When they hear, they come home. Vayisatzvu anashim. And the men were sad. Vayichar lahem ma'od. They were angry. Ki nivala asa b'Yisrael, because there was a tremendous outrage in Israel. L'shkavet bat Yaakov, to sleep with the daughter of Yaakov. V'chein lo yasa, and such cannot be done. Meaning to say, we see their reactions. A, they're sad. B, they're angry. 3, this is an outrage. 4, this cannot be done. But about Yaakov, none of these things were said. It's only about them. They're the ones who were upset when they came home. They're the ones who are furious. And what does it mean when it says this cannot be done? This cannot be done. La'anot et habitulot, Rashi says, to violate the virgins. Shalmot gadru atzmon min arayot al yidei mabul, because all the nations of the world had protected themselves against sexual sins after the flood. Meaning to say, this was not just Jacob's family who said, we don't want you sleeping with our virgins outside of marriage. This was something which was a complete, have some soup, please take in some soup. Larry, you want some soup, squash soup?
I'm good.
This was something that was not done in the world. Yes, Jerry. Jerry, please.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it said this cannot be done among the children of Israel, or do they mean Jacob? Israel?
It just said v'chein lo yaseh. Such a thing is not done. And Rashi's point is this cannot be done universally, meaning no nation would ever tolerate this. Like you said, even the Arabs would not tolerate this. That this is something that's just not tolerable.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody with me? Wow, so now, Vayidaber Chamor itam lemor, and Chamor spoke with them, saying, Shechem b'ni chashka nafsho b'vitchem. He says, Chamor spoke with them, saying, he went and spoke to Jacob. We're in chapter 34, verse 8, Aviva. Chapter 34, verse 8. Did you get a new book there, Mordechai? Oh, okay. It's waiting to use it. Beautiful. So Chamor spoke with them, saying, Shechem, my son, desires Hashkan nafsho b'bitchem. His soul desired your daughter. Tenuna osa lo isha. Why don't you give her to him as a wife? So what does this mean? So that the Papa is coming and saying, he's saying, my soul desires your daughter, give her to him as his wife. Chashka, chavtza, he desires her. V'itchatnu osanu b'bno sechem, and our v'itchatnu osanu b'bno sechem, v'itchatnu osanu, marry us, b'bno sechem titnu anu, you will give us your b'bno sechem titnu anu, your daughters you will give to us. Vet benosenu tichua lachem, and our daughters we shall give to you. V'itanu teishevu, you shall dwell with us. Va'aretz tiyeh lefnechem, the land will be before you. Shivu sicharua ve'achsuba, dwell, settle in it, trade in it, and basically acquire it. Vayomer Shem el Avia, and Shem says to her father, ve'elacha, and to her brothers, Emtza chen beinechem, let me find favor in your eyes. V'asher tomru elai atein, whatever you tell me, I'll give. So Shem and Hamor are saying, let's have a rapprochement, let's marry each other, whatever you name the price, we'll match it. We love her so much. This is also, first he violates her, and now he says, let's make a deal. That's not the way things are done. That's just not kosher. But Vayanu b'nei Yaakov, verse 12, he says, Harbu alai ma'od. He said, give me a very high mower, very high dowry, umatan. Give me a very high dowry and gift. I'll give whatever you say to me. Just give me this young maiden as a wife. Rashi says, mower is a ketubah, is basically the designation that the bride gets at the marriage. Vayanu b'nei Yaakov et Shem v'et Chamor aviv b'mirma vayidaberu, and the sons of Jacob responded to Shem and Chamor, his father, with mirma. Mirma means with deception. Vayidaberu, and they spoke. Asher timeas dinachosam. They spoke with deception because he had already defiled their sister. Rashi says b'mirma. So people want to know, what does Rashi think of their actions? Rashi says, b'mirma means b'chachma, with wisdom. Rashi defines mirma as wisdom. Okay. Asher timei, because they defiled her.
Can I just say one thing quickly?
Yes.
This reminds me of when.
Why don't we see your video, Judah? Put your video on.
No, I got my own. I'm not that cute anymore. So it reminds me of when I remember Paro died, and they didn't recognize Jews, and it says,
Right.
let us deal craftily with them, right?
What does it
Little
say?
by
In the
li-
hold on, let's remember the pasuk. He says, what does he say? He says, Hava neschach malo. Let's deal with wisdom. But very good there. But here he says, mirma. Right. He doesn't say really craftily there, Judah. He says with wisdom. But you're right. It's the same implication. You're right.
Right. Thank you.
That's a very good connection, Judah. Yeah. So, Asher Timei, Rashi says they were justified in acting like this because Shelo Aita Rimiyah, there was no deceit. Shari Timei et Dina Achotam, because he defiled their sister Dina. Oh yeah, I hope you like the
This is the defibrillator.
Oh, Judah, your defibrillator has arrived. Judah donated a defibrillator to the yeshiva.
Don't tell Judah I said hi.
He's right here.
Don't ever use it. I bless you never to use it.
That's what I said. We should
Yeah,
never
we'll
use it.
never use it. Okay, so the next verse, we never need it.
We should train Hillel or somebody.
I'm going to be trained.
Okay, well, I repeat my statement.
Okay, so what does the verse state? So Rashi says they were justified because they said, Rashi says, it was not deceitful. They defiled their sister Dina. The verse states, and they said to them, we can't give our sister to an uncircumcised man, because they are it's a disgrace for us. Rashi says, it's a disgrace. It's considered disgusting by us. One who wants to insult his friend says to him, Arelata, you are uncircumcised. O Ben Arel, or you're the son of one who's uncircumcised. Cherpa b'kol makom giduf. Cherpa means vilification. Limol, you all need to be circumcised. I will skip that Rashi. So then he says, Ach bezos ne'os lachem. With this, it will agree with you. If you do the following. Im tiyu kamonu, if you'll be like us, limol lachem kol zachar. If you will be like us to circumcise every male. Rashi says, Neos, Nisrat Selachem will agree with you. Mashom ve'yasu HaKohanim, the Kohanim agreed, kings. Limol, Rashi says, Limos nimol. Okay, we said that. We're skipping that, Rashi. Okay. V'nasnu espenosechem lachem, we'll give you our daughters, v'espenosechem nikachanu, and your daughters will take for ourselves. V'yashavnu itchem v'yinu am echad, and we'll dwell with you and be like one nation. So they were speaking not truthfully. But let's see what Rashi says. V'nasnu we will give. We'll skip that Rashi. We skip the ones that are grammar. Your daughters we will take. Atamotze b'tenai shamor chamor Yaakov. When Chamor spoke to Yaakov, ubetshuvot b'nei Yaakov l'Chamor. You find when in the stipulation when Chamor said to Yaakov, and in the response that the sons of Yaakov said to Chamor, Shetaru chashivus b'bnei Yaakov, that they gave great significance to the daughters, to the sons of Jacob. They said, "V'kach benos Shechem, et sheyivcharu lahem, uvenoseihem yitnu lahem lefi datam." Meaning to say that they said, "We'll take the daughters of Shechem, whoever you give, and their daughters they will give to them according to their own opinion." We will give our daughters, and your daughters we will take, whatever we want. But Rashi says, this is all when the sons of Jacob said, but when Rashi's telling us, he's foreshadowing, this is their conversation with each other. But when Chamor and Shem went back to speak to their own people, when the cameras weren't rolling, when it wasn't on Twitter, and it was just in their conversation with each other, what did they say? They reversed it. They said, Espenos, Keshadibru Chamor Shem Beno, El Yoshvei Yiram, when they went back to speak to the people of their city, Hafchu Advarim, they turned the words around. They said, Espenos Echem Nikachonu and Hashem, we'll take their daughters as our wives. Espenosenu Nitan Lahem, and our daughters we will give to them. They were trying to convince the people of their town when they spoke to when they spoke what Rashi's telling us, when Shem spoke to Jacob, they said to them, your daughters you will give to us, and our daughters you will take. Meaning to say, they gave everything to Jacob. Everything was on Jacob. But when they went back, when Chamor went back to speak to his own people, they said, we're going to take their daughters and we'll give them our daughters. Meaning to say, we'll be in charge. They completely exposed themselves. And they said, everything that's theirs is ours. So Rashi is telling us that the children of Jacob were justified in being disingenuous in speaking with these people, because they knew that it was not that they weren't negotiating in good faith. And what's the best proof that Shem and Hamor were not negotiating in good faith? You know what the strongest proof is? Where was Dinah this whole time? She was being held in ransom, in lockup, and so therefore that was the best proof that indeed, indeed she was being held in lockup, and so therefore that was the best proof. So hold on 1 second. Okay, we have time for one more verse. Okay, so what does the verse say? So, Pasuk Ted Zayin. V'im lo tishmu eleinu imo, and if you don't listen to us to get circumcised, v'lakachnu espitenu v'alachnu, then we'll take our daughter and go. Meaning they didn't have her yet. Vayitvu divrayim b'nei Chamor b'nei Shlem ben Chamor, and the words were good in the eyes of Chamor and the eyes of Shlem ben Chamor. Okay, Rashi says nothing. Verse 19. And the young man did not delay. Ki chafetz bevat Yaakov, he desired the daughter of Jacob, and he was the most respected of his whole father's household. Verse 20. Vayavo Chamor Shlem beno al Shari Ram, and Chamor and Shlem, his son, came to the city, and he spoke to them by Dabru on Shei Ram Lemor, and he spoke to the people of their city, saying, and this will be the last verse, and he says, Hanashima ela shleimim, these people are coming in peace. They're trying to convince everybody to get circumcised. Ubalev shalem, and they're coming in peace and with a complete heart. Okay, you know what? Maybe we should stop here. Jerry, you have a question, and then we'll daven mincha. Yes.
Yes.